It's a non-conference showdown in Memphis, Tennessee, as Arkansas and Memphis get set to do battle. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game between the Razorbacks and the Tigers. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Cole the Bear Thompson. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast or get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And as always, we are powered by our friends over at FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. The Arkansas Razorbacks looking to bounce back from a heartbreaker suffered in Oxford last weekend. Will step out of conference play and take on the Memphis Tigers, an upstart Memphis team. They're trying to fight to be the G5 representative in the college football playoff. Guys, we are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game. I am Chris Phillips. Joining me, as he always does, my co-host, my colleague, my partner in crime, Cole the Bear Thompson. Bear, what's going on, man? I appreciate you taking the time. As someone that I know loves G5 football, I know you're fired up to talk about this one, man. What's going on?
One of the best defenses currently in college football, certainly one of the best defenses in G5 football, taking on a high-tempo, potent offense that might be looking to exercise some demons after what happened inside the red zone down in Oxford, Mississippi. Felt like you had the win, then you didn't have the win. TJ Daugherty goes ahead and gets the big-time play. You lose to Trinidad Shameless. You're not losing to Brendan Lewis. You're not losing in the Liberty Bowl. But also remember, there's a part of you that looks at this and says, somehow, some way, I can envision a world where Notre Dame has struggles against Arkansas, maybe even lose this game. Texas A&M has struggles, maybe loses in Fayetteville, but yet we're Arkansas. Are we going to really drop this game to a G5 program out in the Liberty Bowl? It's possible, but also is it after the way we've watched Taylor Green play? Because let's just call a spade a spade. This dude has been far and away a one-ticket showdown to must-see spectacles out in the Hogs offense this upcoming season.
Yeah, Bear, going to be a fun one out there at the Liberty Bowl. 11 a.m. Central Time kickoff on ABC. Bear, Arkansas, a 7.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under sits at 63.5. Memphis leads the all-time series between the two, 3-2. Bear, the last meeting, all the way back in 1998, Arkansas won that game by a final score of 23-9. And as we dive in this game, Bear, I do want to start with Taylor Green. You mentioned that great Memphis defense. There's no secret here. Arkansas is going to go as far as Taylor Green takes them. I mean, he's putting this team on his back every single week. What do you have over, I believe, 400 yards of offense against the Ole Miss? He is the offense.
He is the offense. He is the offense.
He is the offense. And I think that's something that it's exciting, but it also maybe gives you some concern that we're kind of putting it all on him. He's got to be at a special level every single week. Again, you almost expect at this point he's going to do something crazy. He's going to put up video game numbers. He's done it against everybody. But like you mentioned, a stiff test against a Memphis defense that, funny enough, you look at their two, by the way, on defense. I believe it's 10 of the 11 starters are transfer portal players, and one of the guys is a redshirt senior. So a very old group, veteran group, a lot of juniors and seniors, a lot of redshirt guys, older players on this two deep, on this defense from Memphis. This is going to be a fun little chess match and a fun duel to watch how Taylor Green can handle, like you mentioned, what has been probably the best G5 defense in college football.
If not the best G5, one of the best G5. James Madison, I think, is going to make a case. I think if you really want to throw out maybe in North Texas, they can make a case. But so far, Memphis this season ranks 20th in points allowed, 11 per game. They rank inside of the top 30 in pass defense, 176 yards per game. They also rank inside the total defense, top 20, 244 yards a game. They're the number 2 run defense in the country right now. They make offenses obsolete. They force you to win with one-dimensional football. Now, the good news is Taylor Green has shown you he can win through the air. He's shown you that he is not afraid to let it fly. He has shown you that he can get you 340 passing yards in a game. But you also got to realize they love to send blitzes. This is a team that is kind of put together with a bunch of transfers, but they're a team put together with transfers with proven experience at the Power 4 level. These aren't just FCS players getting the call up. No, they're actually being what you would consider in quote unquote a demotion. It's not, because of you have an opportunity to play in a really good conference like the American and are delivering underneath Ryan Silverfield. Offensively, they went out and they brought in Brendan Lewis. Feels like he's found his footing. The competition that they've gone up against, nothing to write home about. Arkansas is going to be easily their toughest game that they will face this year. And it should be because of, let's just call a spade a spade. When you're a G5 program, you're trying to either get your feet underneath you or you're playing against teams that really aren't up to par just yet. Matchups against Chattanooga, Georgia State, Troy. Still, they're averaging over 35 points a game. They've only allowed double-digit points once, and it came to Georgia State. So, again, this is a Georgia State team that was belittled and had no success against Ole Miss. Your defense shouldn't be that bad. It shouldn't be that level either.
Here on the note of Memphis, Tigers sit currently 3-0. You mentioned it. They have wins against Chattanooga, at Georgia State, and at Troy, coming off that Troy win 28-7 over the Trojans. Again, a Troy team that took Clemson to the wire. So a pretty impressive win for them. Again, sitting undefeated. The vibes are high for the Tigers. Bear, you mentioned Arkansas defensively. How concerned are we with the Arkansas defense? I mean, listen, it's Ole Miss. It's Lane Kiffin. You get it. But with a backup quarterback, they sliced them up. I got a little concerned about Arkansas, man, on the defensive side. They lost a lot from a season ago. We knew that coming in. Xavier Sorey is a really good player at the linebacker position. But, again, you look at this Memphis offense. You mentioned the quarterback, Brendan Lewis, 55 of 75, 608, just 2 touchdowns and a pick. But they've ran for 655 yards early in this season. Sutton Smith, their leading ball carrier, 247 yards. Lewis, their quarterback, he is a dual threat guy, 190 rushing yards for him on this season early on. Frank Peasant with 116 rushing yards. And Bear, again, you look at their stats, 11 rushing touchdowns to this point in this season. Stopping the run, going to be key for the Hogs. And I got to be honest with you, I've got some concern right now about that Arkansas defense.
I think the big thing is you got to remember that Trinidad Chambliss was also the leading rusher in last week's game. So a mobile quarterback can beat you. Who's number 2 in rushing currently for Memphis right now? It's Brendan Lewis. He doesn't have as many yards, and, well, he shouldn't, because of, let's just be real, you look at Trinidad Chambliss, he's not supposed to be a guy that after one game outrushes you. But even still, if you were playing Austin Simmons, he was a mobile quarterback. He probably would have done very similar things. Guy right now is currently averaging 5.8 yards a play. He has 2 rushing touchdowns. When you get in the red zone, the thing that I wonder about is, will Travis Williams' defense be too complacent to figure out that they're trying to slow down the rushing attack, and they load up 7 or 8, and they send down a safety, and now they're playing in man coverage. And the wide receivers for Memphis, whoever that is, Jamari Harkins, Cortez Branham, Sutton Smith out of the backfield, Jaden Thompson, they start finding ways to break on open on their one-on-one routes, and Brendan Lewis just stays in the pocket and delivers a clean strike to the end zone for 6 points. That could be a fear of mine. Can you win also on forcing them to pass on early downs? Like, if you end up having an offense that you say, okay, it's 3rd and 1, they can run a quick out route or they can run a pitch to the outside, and they can beat you on both instances. Could you force it to be like, say, 2nd and 12? Where you don't even want to try to gain those yards back on the ground to give you that opportunity to open up the playbook on 3rd down. What you want to do is you want to pass the football to give you an opportunity to open up the playbook on 3rd down. Can you do something along those lines? Because the secondary of Arkansas, it's hit and miss. But again, this isn't a great passing attack for Memphis right now. They've relied so heavily on its ground game. That's going to be something that you wonder in this matchup, especially when you have a mobile quarterback. Can you also make sure that you keep Brendan Lewis inside the pocket? Another major selling point at this moment. Because if he can't move, even if he gains a yard, it's a yard. You can live in 3rd and 8. You can live in 3rd and 7. You can't win when you have your linebacker playing too far back and it's in a man coverage, and then Lewis sees a hole through the A gap. He sprints on up. He slides, but it's gain of 6. Okay, and now instead of being in 2nd and 8, now you're in 3rd and 3. That's not what we want to see in this matchup. That's not what you can afford if you're Travis Williams' defense.
Bear, let's talk Sam Pitman. I mean, the importance of this game. You know, it's fun for us to discuss. 7.5-point spread. Maybe the Hogs are on upset alert. This is going to be a fun one to kick off the Saturday slate, by the way. Really, really fun one to get us going. If you're an Arkansas fan, you're a little bit on edge right now, I think, because boy, oh boy, I mean, It's one of those games, Bear, where I think you win and you more so take a sigh of relief. If you lose, the Sam Pitman era is all but over. I mean, it already feels kind of – I feel like Hogs fans have already come to an acceptance of where we are with the Pitman era. This is probably going to spell the end of it. I don't know. Maybe there's hope held out for it. But, boy, this is a game you cannot afford to lose this one if you're Sam Pitman. Again, it's one thing struggling in SEC play, going up against the best of the best and not being able to come through. Like you mentioned before, losing in Oxford's one thing. Losing to Memphis, that would be a really tough pill to swallow for this fan base because, again, it's not going to get any easier. Like you said, you've got Notre Dame coming to your place the following week. Then you really jump into the meat of your SEC schedule. So it's a game where, again, I think the Hogs are on upset alert. You got a pretty tight spread in this one, which indicate we're probably in for a battle. But it's as must-win, I think, as must-win gets for Arkansas here.
To me, what would be a bigger concern is seeing you either lose outright or – let me phrase that. To me, the biggest concern is if you lose outright, you just know that the era is over. You know that the writing is on the wall. We have got to get change. We need somebody in here that can reinvent this offense and bring us to a new era of where we are more complacent and we are beating opponents that, whether it be the blue chip ratio product or whether it be just the overall status of conference, we're not playing close. That's okay in the sense of, well, we're hitting reset this year. We didn't have high expectations. Winning outright is a great thing too, because guess what? It gives you the confidence to show that change is coming. You're learning from your adjustments. My fear is that we're going to see something similar to what we watched down when they played in Boone Pickens Stadium in 2024 against Oklahoma State, where they jump out to an early 21-7 lead and they kind of take their foot off the gas. And here comes Alan Bowman and here comes Oklahoma State. And they start to gain a little bit of momentum, and then they come all the way back, and Taylor Green makes multiple mistakes, and the offensive personnel makes multiple mistakes, and then Oklahoma State leads, and then you have to go into overtime by a game-time field goal, despite leading all the way up until the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then you lose in double overtime. That's my fear, because of, once again, it's just history repeating itself, where you see the vision. You know that the talent is there. You're putting yourself in a position to where you should feel like you can coast against quality opponents, even quality G5 opponents. But you play with your food, you let them hang around for too long, and then they start to gain the momentum, and you start to play panic football. And when you're playing panic football, it's now forcing you to have to overcorrect, and you're doing too much, and it ends up hurting you rather than just letting you kind of ease your way into another victory and put yourself in a position where you start to gain that confidence. So Sam Pitman, the overall emotions of this game, I think are going to carry a lot of weight. I think that's going to be something that we have to pay attention to. How does he respond if he jumps up really early? Does he keep his foot on the gas to make sure that there is no sense of a comeback? Do we watch him make some adjustments on the fly when it comes to the secondary? Guy gives up a big touchdown pass. Okay, now we're going to replace him by bringing in somebody else in the back end. Are those going to be things that we watch from a coach? Or is it still going through the motions, believing that, what we can do, it can be corrected next week? Because of every single week that we hear, we'll look at the tape and we'll get it corrected next week, and it doesn't get corrected, you're just delaying the inevitable of what many people thought should have already happened. And what many people are kind of hoping happens, even though they aren't hoping happens. It's weird because if you start off the year 3-0, Arkansas, I feel like maybe would have gained that momentum to where they win this game. They shouldn't have 4-0 facing off against Notre Dame. 5-0 is a possibility. Maybe we're ranked. Now sitting at 2-1, and the way that game ended, I think there are some Arkansas fans going, here's Pitman doing Pitman things again. Can we just figure out the rest of the season, rip off the Band-Aid, and start fresh?
Bear, that being said, going to be a fun one in Memphis at the Liberty Bowl. Like I said, I think we're in for an electric game, Bear, that's going to get this Saturday going in elite fashion. Let's lock in some picks. Let's lock in some predictions. Would you like the honors? You want me to go
first?
first?
I'll let you go first.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Again, I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Interesting non-conference showdown. The Hogs absolutely have to bounce back, need to have it. Taylor Green has been electric to this point, been absolutely elite. What he's doing to defenses, I mean, it's putting up video game numbers. And I will say the supporting cast around him has been solid. I'll give them a lot of credit. Omega Blake at wide receiver, I think, has been pretty good. The defense scares me, Bear. It really does. The defense scares me. I don't like what I've seen from them. I understand, give Ole Miss credit, give Trinidad Chambliss, Lane Kiffin, that entire squad. They've got playmakers. They got dudes. You mentioned the mobile quarterback aspect. I think that's something to watch for in this game. Bear, I think this is going to be a wacky, weird game. I think it's a back-and-forth game. Hogs fans will have to forgive me because I am doubting and I am picking the upset. I got Memphis 35, Arkansas 30. The G5 comes out on top. It's a late touchdown for the Tigers to win it. I just don't trust Arkansas, man. I really don't. And this is one that it's hard for me to explain how or why or what happens, but I do think it is a play made late by Memphis. And I think a Brendan Lewis rushing touchdown that puts Memphis ahead. I think they're able to get just one more stop. Taylon Green has been phenomenal. It's just you can't keep asking him to carry the whole load and do everything. So I'm prepared to be wrong on this one. I'm taking a flyer. I want to be wrong, but this is my upset special of the week, if you will. I am going Memphis to get the win in the Liberty Bowl, 35-30. And unfortunately, Bear, send our friends in Fayetteville probably into a tailspin heading into that Notre Dame game.
All right. I mean, listen, if you would have told me last year this happened, I would have believed you. I had Memphis as my G5 representative in the college football playoff. Like their offense with Seth Hennigan, like what they brought in defensively. I think Ryan Silverfield's a very solid coach. He probably deserves to gain some Power 4 considerations if he continues to get wins like this. Not saying Arkansas, but certainly other Power 4 jobs that are becoming open. To me, what this comes down to is a fast start from Arkansas and keeping your foot on the gas. If you allow a team like Memphis to be able to fix and adjust at halftime, its defense, and then respond by forcing a couple 3-and-outs, and then Brendan Lewis gets hot, and this rushing attack gets hot, and they get a couple of explosive plays, and they're in the red zone, and they find a way to just chip away at that lead, it feels like that the inevitable is about to happen. And we're in Stillwater 2.0 once again, watching as Arkansas, the team that we knew on paper, and the way that they performed for most of the afternoon was probably the better team, but they just constantly shot themselves in the foot. And I just feel like that could be a possibility. They shot themselves in the foot against Ole Miss. They shot themselves in the foot last year against Texas A&M. They got lucky that they didn't shoot themselves in the foot another time against Auburn, and they were able to capitalize and get a win out on the Plains. So, there's things that have happened to put them in a good spot. And I don't think that right now we're going to believe in Arkansas long-term. I think this is a 7-5 team at best. I do. But I believe that Taylon Green is why you're a 7-5 team. And I believe that Taylon Green is the reason why, once again, you were in every single game. And I think that you're right. You can't ask Taylon Green to do everything for you every single game. You can't ask him to be the solution and the X factor and the problem solver to fix the faults that are Arkansas football. But you can ask him to do it against a G5 Memphis team. He should be able to do it against a G5 Memphis team. And the man has already won me a ton of money this year. And the man has put me in a position to where I've already made it clear I'm going to say some negative things. I'm going to say some irresponsible things. I'm going to say that he is hero. And he's more than just a hero. He is the entire offense. He's going to finish with over 375 yards of offense. And in some capacity, he is going to score every single touchdown. Rushing, passing. Number 10 is involved in every single play. And they win this football game on the road in the Liberty Bowl. One of my best bets of the week, -7.5 in favor of the Hogs. 31-20 final score. I just think that it gets enough done. Taylon Green, fourth quarter, super sicko mode goes off. And the Hogs improved to 3-1. And you'll take that going into the Notre Dame game.
How about it? So, how about that? I'm going with Memphis. Bear going with Arkansas. Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Love to hear your predictions. Let us know. Razorbacks or Tigers Saturday afternoon in Memphis. Guys, it's going to do all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel's getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, bet $5 if it wins. You'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can bet parlays, build player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel's got you covered. The NFL season is here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. Guys, once again, that's going to do it all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure that you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast or get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. For Cole the Bear Thompson, I'm Chris Phillips. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you all on the other side.